Well, apparently, warmer temperatures not exactly in the county budget this season, and we're going to bring in Crawford County Commissioner John Amato. John, good to see you this morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Can we just maybe put a few more dollars towards the weather forecast, get those temperatures up?
If we had it, we'd think about it.
Well, how you doing?
Good. So far, so good.
So far, so
good. Pretty good trip this far.
Excellent. Well, listen, you're in your now starting your fifth month?
Beginning of the fifth month.
Yeah. Let's go back a little bit. Tell us about your time on Crawford Central School Board.
I sat on Crawford Central School Board for 2 years and then decided, or pretty much was asked to try to run for this, and that's what brought me here. But 2 years on the school board.
What was your favorite aspect about serving on school board?
You know, I think just serving the community. So many people really have an interest in the community, and they don't know where to turn. I was in a situation, I was told the superintendent I was kind of unique from the standpoint that I had taught in that district. I coached in that district. I grew up in the district, so there wasn't a building in Crawford Central where I didn't have a relative, or I didn't have a friend, or I didn't have a kid that I had in school, or a kid that I coached, or the mother or father of a kid that I coached. So they were real comfortable about coming and seeing me and talking to me, and I feel good. That's kind of the way it is right now with the county too, in a lot of ways. Just I taught out in Conneaut Lake area, so out in the western part of the state I know quite a few people. Mid county I know quite a few people, and even over this way, because of a long time ago when I worked probation and parole, some people that I know out this way. So
is that a good thing?
It's a good thing.
Okay.
it's a good thing because, I think that people just feel like they have somebody that they can talk to that understands where they're coming from.
So what are you hearing on the county level? What are people saying to you? Are they happy with the way things are going, or are there concerns?
For the most part, I mean, there's always but I got to be honest with you. Things have been pretty positive. Most people feel that, at least that's what they express, is that they're happy with the group of commissioners right now. I think we do a good job of getting out and representing the county and seeing what's important to the people in the county, and I think people recognize that.
Are you finding that things that you discussed as you ran, once you got into office, maybe weren't quite the same, or did you look at certain situations and go, oh, okay, now I understand why you?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, I don't think it's a secret that I've never really been for the Justice Center that we're building right now. I'm probably some of my concerns that I had about that were valid. The thing that I think that's most interesting about the county, and the thing that I didn't know about the county, are the relationships and the different types of I don't want to say mandates, because they're not quite mandates, but the way your hands are tied sometimes by the state and federal government. How our offices, they're county employees, but they're paid by the state government. They're civil service employees, unlike other employees. But the relationships, I think, between the different offices and entities and boards, I think that's probably the most surprising part. It's a complicated machine. Most of us used to be in an organization where you got a guy at the top and everybody kind of falls down underneath, and it kind of spreads out. But if you look at the county, boy, it's
all over
like this, and part of that's because unlike most states, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, what they've done is they've chosen to kind of take themselves out of the picture. So a lot of what they ask communities to do, they don't do themselves. They feed that down to the county, and it's the county's responsibility to enforce or pass those standards. So
it sounds like the learning curve has been tremendous. Is it easing up a little bit, or is there still sort of a long road to hoe?
No, I tell people all the time that the job itself is not that much unlike what I did at the tail end of my military career. You're managing people, you're dealing with issues, and you're dealing with resources. But the learning curve, again, the biggest part, I think, of the learning curve is the relationships and how all the pieces kind of fit together. And so it's good to have Francis there. Francis has been a good mentor. So if there's something that you don't understand, I just walk next next door and I say, Francis, I don't get how this works. Can you kind of explain it to me? So it's been good, but there's definitely a learning curve when you start looking at, again, those pieces and how they all fit together, most definitely.
One of the things that's always fascinated me with county government, especially in Pennsylvania, and you just alluded to it a few minutes ago, is that, for instance, the general fund budget does not encompass everything that the county is involved in.
Absolutely not.
Human services and others.
That's a great example. A huge budget, but almost that entire budget comes out of state and federal funds. So, and some of those people are state employees, although they're paid through the county, and it's really. But again, it's that the way it's all kind of put together, which I'm not sure is on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm not sure how efficient it is, but that's the way it is. So,
approaching 5 months into the year, this has been a fast year. At least for us, it has to be for you.
It's been a fast year.
Describe some of the challenges you've had in the first 4 months here, and what you're looking forward to tackling as we get into the summer months.
Well, again, the building projects have, I would say, probably been one of our bigger challenges. I think a lot of the pieces in the building project, because maybe the haste of it beginning when it began, weren't quite thought through or weren't quite figured out. So we've been dealing a lot with that, and that's very frustrating. On the positive side, the 911 center that we're about to embark on, we've had a hand in doing some of the planning of that, and Kevin Nicholson has done a great job of figuring out what he needs for that building, as well as Alan Clark. So I feel very confident about that part of it put together. We just finished the elections, which, again, here's one of those things that you don't know until you get there. You think you just show up and vote and it's over with, but Gina Chapman, our election specialist, she programs those machines. She's doing that 3 months prior, and every little change that comes down from the state is a lot of work for her. And so that part of it, just getting the names on the ballots and on the machines and getting that ready to go, and then once it's over, the tabulation part of it. I had Francis, myself, and Chris, for the most part, starting Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Beginning of Tuesday, that's what we did. We tabulated votes. We started it at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we finished at 4:30 in the afternoon. And you say, well, what would take you so long? Well, great example is third congressional district. There's no candidates, so there's write-ins. There's almost 300 write-ins.
Holy cow.
And you don't mind, it's not bad if it's legitimate write-in, but when you got Snoopy, Voltron, Donald Duck, Daffy Duck, me, none. But you got to type them in, you got to record them. So then take that with all the races, and especially any of the unopposed races. And so that's an interesting part. And that's, again, one of those things that you just don't understand how complicated it is. So there's a little break for the people that work in that area right there right now, but they'll start gearing up towards the end of summer again. It'll be three months for one day, and we're lucky. Gina programs our machines. She saves the county about $75,000 because we don't have to bring in a company to do that. So I mean, it's pretty interesting that part of it, but.
You've been attending meetings now for quite a while, and when you really thought, okay, this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to run for this position,
right?
You took a real interest. And of course, you were paying attention prior to that, being on the Crawford Central School Board, but we know others attend the meetings regularly.
Sure.
Some of those people bring up concerns with the prison system, and obviously the Lewises have been in the news.
Sure.
Is that... I don't know if that was ever part of that conversation, or if it was just sort of bad luck or bad timing that this conversation developed while others were complaining about, that other situations at the prison. But what is, I guess, your thoughts on that whole story that's developed?
Well, it's obviously, we were all taken by surprise, but I'll talk about the facility itself. If you walk out to the facility, or you go out to the facility and you look at the the corrections officers that work there, the staff that works there, you won't find a better group of people, professional people that do a great job and take a lot of pride in their work. Even after this all happened and we suspended Mr. Lewis, one of the corrections officers came to me. They have a big DOC, Department of Corrections, inspection in this month. I'm actually might even be starting today, yesterday or today. It starts this week though, and he came to me, he says, Mr. Amato, I don't want you to worry about anything. He says we're gonna do great in that inspection. This is, we don't want you to think that. So that's the kind of attitude or that these guys choose to take. I say guys, but I mean men and women that work in our correctional facility. They're good people, and it's the typical one bad apple shouldn't spoil the whole bunch of so I don't want anybody to think that the efficiency of the Crawford County correctional facility has anything to do with the situation that he's in right now. We're doing an audit, and we're fairly confident that the audit's not gonna show anything, but we feel that in order to put the mind of the taxpayers at ease, we had to do it. It's not cheap. It's going to cost us about $9,000 to do it, but it's the right thing to do. Right. So
we're here with Crawford County Commissioner John Amato. It is 8:21, just about 8:22. This is the Morning Drill on Stream Television and the Allegheny News Talk Sports Network.
The search for a new warden, I take it, is underway?
It's underway. We actually got a few resumes this week. We talked about it in the a week ago today. We talked about it in the prison board meeting, and we decided that we wanted to move on it as quickly as we could, with the idea that hopefully we could have somebody named by the end of this month. So Susan Latarski, our human services person, or chief of human services, put out a ad on CCAP's website, our website, in the Titusville Herald and in the Meadville Tribune, and again, we've received some I'm trying to think how many, probably 4 or 5 resumes this week. And then the idea is that myself, Judge Pitaro, and Chris Kresiak, the treasurer, we're going to review the packets, narrow them down to 3, and then make a presentation to the board.
Rumor is Sherman Allen's one of those?
It's only a rumor. Only a rumor.
I'm joking. So here we go. Summer months, there's going to be road work down, PennDOT's going to be out in full force, which is fantastic because that's just the sign that summer's here. How much of what's going on around the county are you guys involved in when it comes to those transportation type projects? I'm
trying to think. I've got 4 envelopes on my desk for meetings right now to go to, and to be honest with you, until I go to those meetings, I'm not sure how involved we're going to be. Obviously, one of the big things that Steve Scott is real involved in are our bridges, and so that part I'm a little bit more in tune with. But as far as the PennDOT projects, we actually just got invited to a briefing on the PennDOT projects, which I couldn't tell you the date, but I know it's in the near future.
So, again, a lot of time devoted, or at least planned to devote to go into those meetings.
A lot of meetings. I'm going to tell you, a lot of meetings. Some days it's just all meetings. And I'm a kind of active guy, so I'm not used to sitting in meetings. I was telling, I've told the story a couple of times. I sat in a meeting, and the conversation for 1 hour solid was about chickens. Okay, and so cow. Needless to say, I was getting a little bit tired, so I kept poking myself in the head with my pen. And then I got home that night, and my wife said, "What the heck happened to your forehead?" And I had a big mark on my forehead where I was poking myself in the head to try to stay awake during that meeting.
Did you just tell Francis, I can't talk chickens right now. I got other things I got to do. Not all of us are farmers.
That's the other part. Learn. That's it. And, you talked about what have you learned. That's the other part. Is boy, oh boy, what a great bunch of people dedicated to agriculture throughout the county. I mean, in so many different areas, and again, their dedication or their conviction to do great things for the county. It's just amazing to me.
So I guess in your view, how important is agriculture here in Crawford County in 2016?
Well, it's pretty important. I mean, when we look at agriculture, we're talking about, probably the two biggest things that bring money to the county are agriculture and tourism, it's just one of those things that if we can help, we want to do our best. I joined the Farm Bureau because I want those people to know that I support what they do. But it's huge, and you look at a lot of the offices again that are provided by the state. They're offices that are geared towards supporting our agriculture. So.
Big Crawford County Fair coming up in August. It's going to be here before we know it. Now, as commissioner, what are you looking forward to going into the fair season? Because it must be fair season 24/7 for you.
Manure wrestling.
There you go. That'd be great.
I worked the professional wrestling event that they had at the Meadville High School. I volunteered to do that. I always did it when I was on the school board, and I told Mr. Lynch that if I had the opportunity to do it again, I would like to help him do it because I had committed to it the year before. So I worked that event, but I got talking to one of the guys, and he was talking about the wrestling event at the Crawford County Fair, and he said before the wrestling event starts, they always have kind of a lead-up event. It's the manure wrestling to see who can throw who into the cow manure first. And I said, I want to be part of that. I said, whatever you do, sign me up for the manure wrestling. I'm in.
Sounds like you have a great sense of humor. You've got to take that with you wherever you go.
But I'm dead serious.
So are we going to see it?
I hope. I put it out there. I thought, a lot of people come to see it.
No. You're a commissioner now. You don't just put it out there. You make it happen.
Well,
you go up. Whoever's
that's probably the way. I'm going to be in the manure wrestling if I have the opportunity. So.
Well, you're going to have to come by.
I'm committing to the manure wrestling. No doubt about it.
You're going to have to come by on Titusville Day and visit with us and let us know how that's going.
Yeah, I'll do that. But the fair, Ann Hall, of course. For the Fair Board works in our office, and she does a heck of a job. Right now, they're pushing the tickets for the concerts that we're going to have, and basically, that's another thing. Yeah, another piece of learning. The fair. A lot of people think like the commissioners control the whole entire fair, and really, it's the Fair Board that comes to us as the experts, and they tell us what they want, and we say yay or nay. But a great example would be the admission. Hey, if you buy a ticket to the concert, you get in the fair for free. I had nothing to do with that, but a lot of people, hey, thanks for fixing that. It was the Fair Board, but it obviously it's a big event in the county, and the Fair Board does a great job with that. And
those conversations happen, monthly. You're
every month. Yep, every month there's Fair Board meetings. So,
wow. What makes you smile at the end of the day in this position? When you go home, and maybe you're talking with family, and what are you proud of so far 4 months into it?
For me, it's the people. And I say that it's the people that we serve. It's the volunteers. Again, I'm on so many different boards, and I'm amazed by the people who in their communities serve the communities. And I think they're truly the unsung heroes. I don't think that people within the county really know or understand how many people step forward and do those kind of things. Now, here's my concern: is some of them are a little bit on the elderly side, and what we have to do is somehow we have to inspire some of our younger people to step up and do those kind of things, which is one of the reasons why we did student poll workers, and we're looking to expand that to the other school districts. But again, and then the people that are employed by the county, they make me smile, because honest to Pete, I can't say that I see anything but selflessness in the way that they choose to serve the county. They all have this feeling that they want to do a good job. So that's what makes me smile. It's what made me smile in the military. I was a senior NCO. My job was to take care of the troops, and I always took great pleasure in seeing those guys succeed. So that for me is what makes me smile.
Crazy election cycle. Have you been paying attention, or are you too busy?
No, I've been watching it. It's definitely been interesting. So I think that I think Bernie Sanders and I think Donald Trump are people's way of saying that we don't like the way things are. I think I don't. We're not allowed to say politician in my house. We don't say the P word. Same thing. If somebody comes in my store and says, "Hey, what's it like being a politician?" I escort them out the door as fast as I can. So I think that's, and I don't consider myself that. I consider myself, this is the job that I'm doing now. I chose to do this for my community. And I think that's what people are looking for. People aren't looking for the career politicians that have made a living, earning a fortune, serving in government, or being, not, I won't even say serving because I'm not sure. This is a statistic that's amazing to me. If you're in the United States Senate, you have to raise $20,000 a day, every day you're in office, for 6 years to finance your next campaign.
Wow.
So it's hard for, I think it's hard for, those guys to be honest and true to the people they serve when they're selling their soul to get elected the next time. So,
Mr. Amato, good to have you on this morning. Thanks for joining us. Manure wrestling over politician.
That's it.
There you go.
Manure wrestling.
All right, thanks for joining us.
Thanks
This is
for
next.
having me.